Welcome to this flight of the Retail Pilot. I'm Ken Pilot, former CEO and current brand advisor, investor, and board member. I'm thrilled to share with you some of the insights from retail's leaders and legends, as well as my perspective on retail today. This podcast is sponsored by the following. Boost your e-commerce site's traffic with video content. Sites with videos see 41% more traffic from search engines due to improved SEO and engagement. What's the solution? Meet Firework, the leader in AI-powered video commerce. Brands like Gap, L'Oreal, Unilever trust Firework to create interactive shoppable videos from live shopping to short-form content. Firework bridges digital and physical retail, increasing engagement and sales by over 3x. With Firework, you can easily integrate social media videos into your product pages and convert live streams into shoppable content. Plus, Firework offers AI-powered virtual assistants and video showrooms. That's why I'm an investor and advisor to Firework. Learn more at firework.com. Welcome to the Retail Pilot Leaders in Legend. And today we are honored to have John Legend, a celebrated singer, songwriter, and EGOT-winning artist whose soulful music has earned him 12 Grammy Awards and global acclaim. Known for his timeless hits, his role as a coach on The Voice for 9 seasons, John has become a household name in music and entertainment. Beyond his artistry, John is the founder of Loved One, a groundbreaking skincare line launched in 2023, focusing on inclusivity, affordability, and high-quality care. The brand offers dermatologist-approved products that nourish and celebrate diverse skin tones and has evolved to address the aging population. John's work in music, business, and advocacy continues to inspire fans worldwide while championing innovation and representation. John has 4 children with his wife, Chrissy Teigen. We are also joined by John's Loved One business partner, Ari Bloom, co-founder and CEO of A-Frame Brands, focusing on socially responsible brands addressing demographic trends. A-Frame's portfolio includes Loved One with John Legend, Proudly with Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade, and Kinlo with Naomi Osaka, along with Perfect Paws and Daily Essentials, which were custom designed for Bath & Body Works. A-Frame has more product coming. Before Bloom was CEO at Avometric and had a nice exit there, he was a merchandising executive at Gap, where we met. He earned an MBA from Harvard and founded ATB Ventures in 2009. Bloom is passionate about music and performs regularly in LA. Ari resides in Los Angeles with his wife, Nina, and 2 children. And at the end of this podcast, we will share a generous promotion from Loved One. Welcome to the Retail Pilot, Leaders and Legends. John Legend, Ari Bloom. Great to see you guys.
Great to see you. Thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure. Ari, I've known for a better part of half of my life. John, we're new friends, but I've been doing a lot of work, John, a lot of catching up on you. And I'm going to share, I think, a little known secret. Well, maybe 15 million people might know because they follow you on Instagram, but your dog, Pebbles, actually picked the winning Super Bowl team. And the only one of your 3 dogs to pick the Eagles. Is he your favorite dog?
Pebbles is a she, and she is not my favorite dog.
Is that because you're a Chiefs fan or no?
No, but she did a good job picking the Super Bowl. I was actually rooting for the Eagles. I went to college in Philadelphia and have a lot of friends and band members and people I love who are from Philadelphia. So I don't normally root for the Eagles, but in this case, rooting for the Eagles was the only choice for me. So Pebbles picked the right team.
Only one of your 3 dogs to do it.
Yes.
John, Ari told me that you love to be busy and get things done. And you finished high school in 16 years. You went on to study and finish at the University of Pennsylvania. And then you got a gig with the esteemed Boston Consulting Group and even had a side hustle in music. Tell us about your postgraduate life and all the stuff that you had going on, because I really want to try to understand how you had this left brain, right brain thing going and where you went with it.
Well, I was always a pretty nerdy kid, but also very musical and creative kid. So they were always kind of running at the same time. Both sides of my brain were running at the same time, but they always say that math and music are actually pretty correlated. So I loved math and I was a pretty precocious student. And then I started to fall in love with creative writing and essay writing and ended up being an English major in college at the University of Pennsylvania. And then all of that time I was making music. So I started making music when I was a little kid. I grew up in a very musical family. My mother was our church choir director, and her mother, my grandmother, was the church organist. And so I would go to choir rehearsal with them all the time and just be around a lot of music all the time. And I wanted to make it. So I started taking piano lessons when I was 3 or 4, started singing in the church choir when I was 7. And then, that was always happening, and it was always something I was passionate about, but I was also always passionate about school and the spelling bee and all those things too. And so it was always happening together. And when I was at Penn, I sang in an a cappella group. I directed a church choir. But, at the same time, my more kind of ambitious, success-minded brain was like, well, I've got to get a real day job. And I ended up working as a management consultant for a few years while I was trying to get my music career off the ground. And I was very intentional about trying to get my music career off the ground at the same time. I was playing shows and writing songs and meeting with record labels and managers and all the gatekeepers that would help me get in. And all that was happening while I was working a day job, crunching numbers and writing slides for BCG.
And did they know you were doing this at the time, or
yeah, they knew. They would come to my shows. They were supportive. I'm still friends with several of my colleagues there. Some of my partners that I worked for, I'm still in touch with, and some of my fellow associates that were peers of mine, I'm still close with. And so they were my friends, and I would invite them to my shows. And, they were like, "That's nice, John. You got a little side project." And it wasn't like we didn't work a lot of hours at BCG, but we did. And I still managed to figure it out. I always say I slept a lot less then than I do now. I get a lot more rest now than I used to. But yeah, that was my life.
Was there anyone there that told you to quit your day job?
I wanted to quit my day job. I didn't need anyone to tell me. I was just waiting for the right time. I was waiting for the right time for the music to take off so it could pay the bills. And it started happening around 2003. And I got signed in 2004.
And the rest, as we've discussed, is history. I'm curious to know, Ari, tell us a little bit more about A-Frame and how this all fits into John's world, or really how you fit into John's world.
Yeah, we've had a great relationship, partnership, friendship now for, I think, about 3 years we've known each other. Now, maybe 4 years, Sean, that we met, I guess, in, can't remember the year, but it was a couple of years.
It was 2021, I think, or late 2020. It was in the pandemic times.
Yeah, pandemic times. I remember that first meeting. John's agent, Todd, is a great guy. He had the foresight to see that both of us had similar interests and that we were looking to do similar things, and connected us. And, I think from my perspective, so Hill Harper and I founded A-Frame about 5 years ago, and really was the intention that we felt like there were brands that just weren't being launched because there were demographic shifts happening in this country and around the world that just weren't being capitalized on, and needs were not being met. And when we met John and started talking about opportunities together, we knew that John had an interest in this space as well. And we needed a reason, both of us, to do it. And I think we found a thesis that made sense together, but we also had a shared interest in just how to build a business and how to do business and how to partner. And, from A-Frame's perspective, I think we have the luxury of being able to pick the people we work with and be very intentional about how we do business. And it was really important. I think John and I had a really nice connection early on. We shared a lot of things in common. We're both dads with kids around the same age. We both have a love for music. We both have a love for business. He went down the music path. I went down the business path, but, we're in the same place in college. And so it's just, we've had a really good run together. And I think that it makes sense for us to, to build a business like this in partnership.
John, what prompted the name Loved One?
Well, I think anybody that follows my music career knows that love is such a central theme. What we do creatively, musically, and when we thought about what people's self-care rituals really mean to them and what it means to really take good care of yourself, it's an expression of love for yourself, care for yourself. And we thought of loved one as something that the whole family would want to use and something you'd want to share with your loved ones. And so loved one just felt right, because it's about the expression of self-love, but also of sharing it with people you love. And it just felt right. And all the creative was devised by me, but also my team that works with me on everything. They're helping me design posters for my tour, set designs for my tour, my wine bottles, everything that we've created coming from, my team has all been creatively with the same core group. And so I think I love that consistency and that connection to who I am and to my aesthetic and my values that they bring to the table. And so we created Loved One, the brand, and all of the signature kind of visual aspects of the brand together.
Love the website. I love the way the product looks. It's very clean, very appealing. And for those of you who haven't been on John's site at Loved One, that's o1.com, check it out because the product is beautiful. John, I don't know how much you knew about skincare and wellness going into this, but it's a tough business. It's crowded. I mean, who helped you guys, John, position this business, and who was the customer that you were going after? Where was that white space?
Well, we thought a lot about the white space around melanin-rich skin. And as we did research around who was being targeted for skincare, whose skin that dermatologists and skincare developers were testing on, we felt like there was a gap in just addressing a really large and growing part of the population that has darker skin. Now, when we developed the product, we found out that everybody loved it and it worked well for everyone. But we wanted to be at least intentional about designing it and developing it, thinking about a customer that wasn't always thought about when skincare was being made. Now, everybody has skin, everybody has skincare needs, but we found that people with darker skin tones, for instance, lose moisture more quickly. So it helped us focus on moisture as a key deliverable that we wanted to give our customer. And so all of our ingredient choices were made with that in mind. We've got a new serum that's coming out that focuses on hyperpigmentation, which are like dark spots and things of that nature, which everybody gets, but people with darker skin tend to get them more. And so again, having that sense of intention about paying attention to the needs of an underserved community made us drive toward making products that were great for everybody.
What demographic now is the focus for the brand?
Well, we're in a lot of places. We're on Amazon, we're on QVC, we're in CVS, and we wanted every product to be affordable and accessible. And so we wanted our demographic profile to be really inclusive of everybody. A lot of times celebrity lines are at celebrity prices. And we wanted ours to be something for the people that they could actually access it and afford it and have the experience of luxury, but at prices that aren't luxury.
I just want to interject a few other points here too, as well as I think that, our focus in launching the brand, I think we really did look at sensitive skin as an important focus for us. And as John mentioned, certainly there's a huge percentage of the population that has more pigment in their skin that isn't necessarily being addressed and could be centered. I think what, we've also found since we've launched the brand is it really resonates, especially with women over 40 across all skin tones and skin types. But I think the thing being kind of as you age, your skin gets a little bit more sensitive, more moisture loss. And because the brand really is focused on moisturization and skin barrier protection, it really does. It's a very, very high quality product, especially for the price point. It's also designed very beautifully. I think that there's a lot of value perception. And so when we have expanded the brand into Amazon and into QVC, we've seen a lot of resonance, especially with that constituency. So I think the demographic for us really is, there's a diverse audience and there's a aging audience. We'll call it Gen X is probably a good focus for us older millennials, but that's been really, we've seen a lot of resonance there.
Ari, with the focus on quality and value, and also with the types of product that you were sourcing, what were some of the sourcing challenges you faced with getting the right product at the price that you needed to address the opportunity?
Yeah, I'm going to give you maybe a surprising answer, which was there weren't a lot of challenges. I actually think that we have a very good sourcing team. We've developed a number of brands now, and, I think we've developed a really good supply chain, and it's all domestic. So I think with John, we were able to develop some really beautiful product and a great dermatologist that we worked with that helped us to develop the brand. I think we cut out a lot of the unnecessary prices that are involved with having multiple people touch things, multiple vendors and, trading companies and things that kind of get in the middle. And also, frankly, I think doing things domestically enabled us to move quickly, and it's really helped us. I think, even John, I can remember that one of the first meetings we had with one of the major retailers, and they were talking to us about how they were onshoring all of their production, and that, they were really excited that we were producing domestically because, that was going to help with supply chain issues. And I remember John even speaking to this point with them to say, like, we're actually a company that does source things domestically, and we are ahead of the curve there. And that was 3 years ago.
Ahead of the curve and away from the tariffs. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
John, is there a secret sauce? Is there a special scent or smell or node that you have achieved that you love whenever you open up your product?
Well, it's interesting because we didn't lean heavily into scent in the first tranche of products that we released, though we are starting to develop some variation when it comes to scent. And we're going to launch some new scents with our hand wash and hand and body lotion. And so that's coming soon. But we wanted everything to be natural and plant-based. And so we didn't want any kind of synthetic smells of any sort. And so all the fragrance is very natural and kind of based in the oils and plants that we use. And so ones that I love from the beginning was the rose hip oil, that's face and body oil. It has this really light rose scent that I really love. And it's become something that's really familiar to me and part of my kind of everyday ritual that I really love. But we're going to start to expand our fragrance profile and scent profile very soon. But everything's going to be natural and plant-based still.
Well, your skin looks great. I mean, I got to start using more of your product. And your wife, Chrissy, has a favorite product from the line as well. I hear she loves the exfoliator. Why is it her favorite?
She loves it. She loves the feel of it. It has a really gentle exfoliant, and it's bamboo granules, which are really lovely, and they feel great on your skin. And this is what I love about Loved One, is that we've created something that's, my wife has access to all kinds of skincare product, knows all the celebrity dermatologists and skincare product makers, and she can afford whatever she wants, but she loves our, $15 exfoliating cleanser more than any other one that she would use. And she uses it all the time. And she uses our face and body moisturizer every day as well. And that's a $10 face and body moisturizer. And before that, she was using like La Mer and all these really expensive ones. And she loves ours. And this is what I love about Loved One, is that we've created something that really, with its effectiveness, competes with these expensive brands at very affordable prices.
What have you learned, John, through launching a skincare product line? And what were the challenges you faced? Did you expect it to be what it was?
Well, there's bumps along the road all the time, and we're always learning together. But I think what's good about the team, Ari and the rest of the team, is that we're always paying attention to the data. We're always listening to our customers. We're always asking them questions, what's working, what's not. And I think we're also being very attentive when it comes to the retailers that we work with, and what's working with them, which products are doing better at different places, and things of that nature. And so I think whenever we encounter setbacks or challenges, I think we're very nimble and ready to listen and learn and adjust when we need to adjust.
You're probably doing the hand-to-hand combat with some of the retailers. And I know that's pretty easy. You work with companies like Walmart, Target. They're pretty easy. You just tell them where you want the product, how long you want it to be there. You dictate your term.
Awesome.
But what do you see as being the retail opportunity for Loved One?
Yeah, I think we should probably talk about live selling, because it is the thing that I think differentiates us in a really meaningful way. And I think it's something we've uncovered over the last 6 months has been incredibly effective for us, maybe the last year at this point. But John has a very special talent he's a performer. He knows how to get up in front of people and talk about his vision and what's important to him and communicate. And it's a very rare skill. And I think that that's an unfair advantage for this brand to have John to go on QVC or to go on CBS Mornings, where we go about once a quarter to do a deal segment. Those channels are working really well. And they're what we would probably consider in this day traditional channels. Live selling is nothing new. It's evolved quite a bit. You've got TikTok, you've got Instagram. But what we're finding is actually the traditional media channels really work very well for us. Not surprising given the customer demographic that we talked about earlier. that customer is still watching television. They're shopping on QVC. And I think that's the channel that I think we're all really excited about. At the same time, Amazon is the very effective place to build a brand. And I think you've got to learn how to work with the system. And, there's certainly a lot of fees and things to figure out. And you got to make sure that your ad spend is productive, but there's a formula there. And I think that's really welcome for those of us. John mentioned, looking at data and using data to guide. It's very easy when you're working on a platform like Amazon to have data and to action upon the data. And I think that's something, candidly, the traditional retailers are still struggling with, because I would say, not calling out anybody in particular, because I think they're all doing this, is like there's a big move to like push you to spend money on their platforms with advertising on their sites. And we candidly just don't see the return that we would on an Amazon. And it makes it harder for us to invest money into stores where you can't control the inventory because sometimes it doesn't get on the floor. It's really expensive to get it set up and maintained. There's shrink issues in a lot of companies right now. And then when you talk about kind of having to put ad spend into their digital sites when they're not that effective, it can be challenging. So I'm very excited about live selling, and I'm very excited about Amazon.
And live selling, the feedback is so instant. You see, phrasing works. You see like when there's spikes, again, it just gives you such great feedback and data along with what Amazon does. And so I think we're really high on these places where we can sell a product, but also learn very quickly what's working and what's not.
John, do you get as great of a rush appearing on QVC or when you're running out on stage? I mean, tell me, compare the two.
It's exciting. It's a different kind of exciting, but I really enjoy it. And, they're really pros over there. The hosts there are so good at understanding their audience and how to communicate with them. And they teach me so much about how to do that as well. And so I really do have a great time there. But of course, I love singing a bit more.
It must be wild.
Can I interject something?
I was going to say, though, it must be wild just to see, like, can you see the numbers as you're speaking to the product and talking about it? Do you see the sales live?
I'm not literally looking at them, but the QVC team knows what's happening at any given moment, and they give us instant feedback as soon as the segment's over.
Yeah. And it's similar, CBS is similar because you can see we have a dashboard and we can see exactly what's happening and when sales are spiking, and, you sell a bulk of the product within minutes of the appearance. And so there's a lot of data. You can look at heat maps, where it's coming from around the country. It's really, really good. And I think maybe we think of these channels as being fairly analog and outdated. It's great for data. It's great for understanding your customer and your demographics and your geographic focus. So I think we've benefited from it. And let me also just give credit to those teams, like the QVC team. They're great. They're fantastic to work with. They've been great partners to us. CBS has a great system set up there for the morning shows. I know some of the other networks are doing this as well. It's a nice channel.
Wondering, taking that whole idea of live selling to either TikTok or to your social commerce sites, whether it's Facebook where you have 20 million followers or Instagram, are you doing any social selling there? Any live selling?
We've done it on Amazon's live platform. We've done some conversations on Instagram Live, but not a direct, like a selling function on Instagram Live. But I think there are more opportunities to do that in the future. I know TikTok is opening up commerce on there and trying to grow that. And so I think there'll be more opportunities for those platforms in the future.
John, I've got a great idea for you. I think based on your success with QVC, you should do shoppable video on your e-commerce site. And I invested in a company, Firework, that provides shoppable video, shoppable live stream for e-commerce sites. They're the largest in the space. They raised over $250 million.
They have some money over there.
And what I love about the platform is that by doing shoppable live stream or video on your e-commerce site versus QVC, TikTok, Reels, or even Amazon, you get all the first party data. You keep the customer data so you can remarket to the customer. So when you're ready, let me know and I will connect you with the Firework team.
I love it. That's a great idea.
What is next? Where does the John Legend brand go? I know there's product extension that you talked about for Loved One, but you're also kind of passionate about the fashion space.
I love fashion. I do. I haven't decided ever to launch my own clothing line. I've done some collaborations over the years. And, that's kind of how I warmed up into doing skincare as well. I've done a lot of collaborations with other skincare brands over the years. And I learned a lot from that. I don't know that I would extend into creating my own fashion line. If anything, I'd probably do another collaboration again in the future, which I do enjoy. I love working with great designers and seeing what we can come up with together that fits my aesthetic and my point of view. So we'll see about that. But in the meantime, we've got plenty going on over here. I'm making a lot of music. I've been in the studio all morning and making a new record. And I've been writing for Broadway, writing for animated film. I've been a brand that Chrissy and I founded together at pet food called Kismet. And it's really doing really well. Just launched at Chewy. And then I have my wine brand, LVE. So we got plenty going on.
Well, that kind of brings me
from Loved One.
What's that?
New products coming from Loved One in the next couple of weeks. They'll be launching on QVC, so that's very exciting. We can't talk too much about them, but there's some exclusive.
We're very excited about them. We've got some great stuff we've been working on for a long time. And again, like I said, with music, with Loved One product development, everything we do, there's so much thought and collaboration and development that goes into it that when it's finally time to put it out, we feel really confident that it's ready for the public.
So one of the other channels that I'm excited about is actually the institutional B2B side of things. So I think travel and hospitality are a really great fit for this brand. So we're really looking at some opportunities to be in hotel rooms. So that's something I think John and I share a lot of passion for that. And so we're looking for the right brand partnership for that. And that's something that I think long-term is going to be really successful for this brand. And it's a channel that I'm very excited about.
Love it. The promo offer for Loved One is 25% off your next purchase, and it's good through May 1. Enter promo code PILOT25 for your discount. All right, with that, let's pivot to rapid fire. John, favorite clothing brand for you to wear?
Oh, it changes. Lately, I've been really into Louis Vuitton. I've been working with Pharrell and they've dressed me for a few events lately. And so I've been into that. But, I go through little phases where I end up wearing a lot of the same designer, multiple events in a row. Amiri, Gucci, and I wore Zegna last night at the Vanity Fair party.
John, my wife, Sarah, noted that you have such great style, and she loved the way that you continue to evolve it, incorporate new looks, new brands, new designers.
Yeah,
She's a fashion guru.
I like to be really collaborative with my stylist, Dave Thomas, who's amazing. We just went to Africa and we wore all African designers in the shows there. And for all the Rwanda shows, we only wore Rwandan designers. And for all the Nigerian shows, we wore only Nigerian designers. And I love being open and creative. And even though I do have a sensibility and a style, I also want to, allow myself to have some variety and not just be kind of boringly consistent.
But there's not that many things that are hard about working with John, but trying to sit next to him and look good is very good. That requires a nice wardrobe budget on my side, and we did not work a glam budget into my contract.
John, best moment of the Oscars?
Oh, there was so much greatness. I mean, I loved the opening. Cynthia and Ariana did a beautiful job. And they're just such talented singers. And it's been such a really wonderful year for Wicked and the whole kind of legacy of The Wizard of Oz and The Wiz and Wicked. Just seeing all of it come together in one performance, I thought was really cool.
Favorite streamed show?
Right now, my favorite, things that are like currently making new episodes or just
either one. Do you have a favorite from before? You could do it before and before.
Well, I think that probably my favorite drama of all time is Breaking Bad. And, I guess we watched it it wasn't technically streaming then, but you can stream it now. So let's go with Breaking Bad.
Person you'd most like to meet?
Oh, who haven't I met? Oh, wow. That's a good one. Warren Buffett.
Final question. Favorite place to travel?
We just went there and it was where Chrissy and I got engaged. It's called the Maldives and it's in the Indian Ocean and we love it there. It's so beautiful and we found a place we love to stay when we go there. And we've been there multiple times with the kids and I'll say that's my favorite place to visit.
And with that, we'll land this flight of the Retail Pilot. John Legend, Ari Bloom, thank you guys so much for joining me today. That was amazing. Thanks for tuning in to this week's flight of the Retail Pilot. And please give us a review on your favorite podcast platform.